Hi Mohit.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, this is Sumis. I'm the manager of analytics department.
Okay.
So, can you please give me your self introduction briefly?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Mohit Tyagi. I have 6 years of experience in Tableau. Majorly, I work on Tableau, SQL, and all tricks. I have done a lot of projects in Tableau in my previous company. If I talk about my personal background, so I am from Meerut. So this is all.
Okay, thank you. So, let's start off your first one interview for W position.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay, so come to the technical part. So, may I know what is the sequence of filter in W desktop is?
Yeah. So if we talk about the sequence of Tableau filters, so first of all, extract filter comes, and
Mm-hmm.
after that, data source filter comes. So it is because like when the Tableau engine works, so it actually process the data for extract first. Then
Mm-hmm.
after the processing of data in extract, then it comes to the data source level. So
Okay.
if you want to reduce the size of the data, so you can use the extract filter, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
can use the extract filter so that you can reduce the size of your data. So after that, the data comes into the data source filter, right? So in
Okay.
data source filter, you can also apply the filter, but but your data size will not decrease, right? So the data size can only decrease by the extract filter only, right? So these are the two filters. After the data source filter, the context filter comes. So in context filter, actually Tableau creates a temporary table in itself, and it uh, filter out the data based on the dependent filter. Generally, we use two filters when we apply the context filter. So, for second filter is dependent on the first filter. So, Tableau automatically creates a temporary table within it, and then it filters out the data in your second filter. Right. Fourth filter comes as a dimension filter. So the dimension filter can be like your any dimension, like you are using a category, subcategory, region. So these are the dimensions. So that comes at the fourth place. And the fifth place comes the measure. So the measure can be like your sum of sales, right? Sales or your profit or your discount. So you can apply the filter on that also, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this filter comes on the fifth place, and after that the table calculation comes. So the in table calculation, you can apply the VLOOKUP, or if you want to apply some analytics, right? So analytics means like
Yes.
you want to apply the reference line, right?
Yes. Yes.
Reference line. So then it
Okay.
comes after that. So this is the level of filters in Tableau.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Mohit. Can you please tell me what is the empty extract in W?
Or suppose we want to increase the speed of our extract, so in that case we use the MPT extract. Like sometime like we have very huge data, right, in extract. So if we want to open that Tableau extract quickly, so we need to create the MPT extract, because MPT extract contains the zero record when we
Okay.
create the MPT extract. So
Mhm.
generally we use MPT extract to open our extract quickly in our desktop.
Mhm. Okay. May I know what is the logical table and physical table in Tableau?
So when you will directly open your Tableau, so in the data source tab, you will see by default you will see the logical table. So when you will double click on the logical table, then you will able to see the physical table. So that
Okay.
means logical table is a wrapper for physical table, right?
Okay.
And if you talk about the logical table, so logical table is a outside layer of the physical table. So
Okay.
these are the two different way of using. So these are the completely two different, and we use these two differently. So suppose you want to apply the joins. So in joins, we apply the joins with respect to physical table. So when we apply the joins, so two tables are physically associated to each other based on some common fields, right? And there is a new concept in Tableau, which is relationship. So relationship, we apply the relationship with respect to logical table. This is all. Yeah, this is all about the
Okay.
logical table and physical table.
Okay, thank you. Come to the next part. Can you put some light on incremental refresh?
Yeah. So incremental refresh is something like, suppose generally we use full refresh. So because we don't know our historical data is refreshing or not, right? But somehow, like, we want to increase the speed of our dashboard, so that we generally use we in that case we use the incremental refresh, right? We are sure that our historical data will not change. So in that case, we can keep that historical data as it is. We just need to add the new data. Suppose till yesterday we have some data. Today we just need to add the today's data. So we don't need to first remove all the data and then put again the entire data. So it will take a lot of time. So instead of doing that, what we can do, we can just add the today's data. So based on a field, like the date, like the yesterday date and today days is the different, right? So based on the date, we can add the data into our data source. So that is basically incremental refresh. So that will add very quickly.
Okay. I have a published dashboard in Tableau.
Okay.
So I want to apply restriction to view this dashboard on Tableau server. So employee can see data with respect to their state.
Okay. Okay, so if employee want to see the data with respect to their state, so in that case, there is a functionality on the Tableau server side which we call the row level security. So in the row level security, what we can do, we can restrict the user like based on the username, right? So suppose we want to show the region based view. So we can segregate the users in the groups, and based on that, we can apply the user filter. So the user filter is something like which actually restricted the user based on that, based on their groups, right? So suppose we have created 4 groups with respect to their state, right? And we have put the users in their different groups, so that every state user can see their data respectively.
Okay, Mohit. So come to the next question. Suppose we are showing data in Tableau as a cross tab.
Okay.
I am showing major value like profit, sales, and discount with respect to case ID, case name, location. So my requirement is to repeat dimension with every major name. So generally in cross tab, dimension comes one time with major values.
Okay. So in that case, like, we can use the pivot, right? So pivot is a functionality in the data source level tab. So what we can do, suppose we want to repeat the dimension with respect to the measures, right, which we are showing. We can select all the measures, right, and we can right click and we can use the pivot, right? So as we do that, so all the major values we will see in the data source level. So they will come with respect to every record. So when we come to the worksheet level, so when we drag the dimension name or measure name, so they will align with respect to every dimension name. So we can do that by the use of pivot.
Okay. Okay. So what is the difference between group and set?
Okay. So group is static in nature. Set is dynamic in nature. So set is basically apply based on some condition. We use the condition on the dimension. So then we can create that set. While the group is actually, we can create the group both dimension and measure with respect to both, right? And that is static in nature. So it is a subset of data, right? It is a subset of data which actually remains static. As the data will come, will add on, so it will remain static. While the set is dynamic in nature. So suppose we are showing top 5 customer, right, based on the sales. So suppose today we have five customer which are coming top 5. So it is not always like they will show under the top 5. So as the data will increase, so maybe possibility like new top 5 can come into that way, right? So this is how like it is dynamic in nature based on the condition.
Okay. Yeah. So what is the difference between date name and date part?
Okay. So in date name, suppose we want to show the name of the month, right? So we can use the date name under the bracket. We can use month with respect to order date, so that we can see the month like January, February. So right.
Okay.
But when we use the same with respect to date part, like date part into the bracket month, comma order date, so then we will get it as a number like 1 to 12. So it is giving us output as a number, while the date name gives us output as a string.
So suppose I want to change the date time zone, how we will achieve? Example like how to convert IST to CST.
So if we want to convert IST to CST, so in that case we can use date add function, because CST is minus 13.5 hour to IST. So in that case we can use date add hour minus 13 comma date add again and minute comma minus 30 comma order date. So in that case we are going minus 13.5 hours back. So this is how we can convert IST to CST.
So what are the global filters?
So suppose we are using some data source filter or extract filter. So these are the global filter. So as we are applying some condition on the data level, so we can see the effect of that filter within the different worksheet or the different dashboard.
Okay. So what are the Tableau different products?
Okay. So the Tableau different products are like Tableau Desktop, which is primarily used by the developer. And apart from that, Tableau Public, Tableau Online, Tableau Server, right? So Tableau Server is basically used for the publishing the dashboard. When a Tableau developer want to publish his dashboard, so he can use the Tableau Server. And Tableau Public is something like this is for everyone, like anybody can use that. And Tableau Online is similar to the Tableau Server, which is also used for the publishing the dashboard. But there is a minor difference between Tableau Server and Tableau Online. So Tableau Online is maintained and take care of by Tableau team, Tableau global team. while the Tableau server is maintained by the in-house team. So if we talk about the security point of view, Tableau server is more on the security level side.
Okay. So what are the different Tableau file extension?
So Tableau different file extensions are like TDSX file, so which is used for the data source only. Suppose you want to create something out of that data, so you can use the TDSX file. Apart from the
Okay.
TDSX file, there is a TWDX file, which generally used for the complete package, which contains the Tableau view plus the data source both. Suppose if somebody don't have the access of the Tableau dashboard and the Tableau data source, so he can use the TWBX file, and there is a file like .hyper extension. So this is used for the extract file. Generally, when we create the extract, so it will create a .hyper extension file. So majorly we use these three files: TDSX, TWDX, and .hyper extension.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So what is the use case of context filter?
Okay, the use case of context filter is to enhance the speed of the dashboard. When we talk about the context filter, so it actually create a temporary table inside the Tableau engine, and so that it will only filter out the relevant data. So it will not go each and every record, because when we use the context filter, so generally we use two filters. The second filter is dependent on the first filter. So as we filter out the data on the first filter, so in the second filter, it will not go each and every record. So it will go only those selected data which is given by the first filter. So it will filter out the data based on that. So this is how it will enhance the speed of the dashboard.
Okay. Okay. So what is the difference between blending and joining?
Okay, so blending and joining, these are the two different concepts. So first we talk about the blending. So blending actually, we have some restriction regarding the blending. We can only use the left outer join when we apply the blending. So that, so in that case, we make sure that like our primary data source should have all the possible data. Because if we will make that secondary data, so what will happen? We will get lot of asterisk. So asterisk means we will get we will get one to many output. So in that case, we will not get the correct output. So it actually aggregate the data separately, and then it will merge the data accordingly, right? Doing the join is little bit of different. Actually, first merge the data and then it aggregates the data. So in that way, if we are sure like the data have one-to-one relationship between these two tables, so then we can go for the joins. Otherwise, it will create the duplicates. Right. If we don't know, like it can be one to many or one to one relationship, so we can go for the blending. Right. So there is another difference. Like blending actually work with the two different data sources, while the join actually can work with both, whether the data is within the same data sources, coming from the same data sources, or the data is coming from the two different sources. So the join actually giving you the facility like you can do the join in both conditions. But with respect to blending, so blending we can do only with the two different data sources.
Yes. Okay. Okay, Mohit. Thank you for joining with us. We'll get back to you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Mohit. Bye.